Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. If the Ukrainians are reporting that the Russians are advancing and the situation is quote-unquote complicated, that means the situation is 3 times worse. I got to learn this through direct experience with the war in Ukraine or special military operation in Ukraine. And this comes from the Americans, but I think is a report coming from the Ukrainians ultimately. So let's read this article. It's an article that came from Reuters 8 hours ago. Another article came 10 hours ago. It has the same title, but the ending is a little bit different. I'm going to show you both of them. And I'm going to read this one. This is the one I want to read. Ukraine says situation quote unquote complicated in East. Russia reports advancing. So this is 8 hours ago. You see this picture? Reuters. I'm going to go to this one, and this one is from 10 hours ago. Reuters, see here, same picture. Ukraine says complicated situation in fighting in East. Some success in South. Okay, we're not going to read this one. We're going to read this one. So let's see what Ukraine says situation complicated in East. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Kiev reported a complicated situation in fighting in East Ukraine. Let's see how these guys are starting. Kiev reported a complicated situation in fighting in East. It's the same. It's just a different title. All right, my friends. Whatever, if you say so. Situation fighting in East Ukraine on Tuesday, and Moscow said its troops had advanced in the direction of the city of Kupiansk in the northeast. So let's see where that is. Kupiansk. I covered this Kupiansk front yesterday. It was Kupiansk and Liman. It's right here in the east of Ukraine. So I'm going to show you. Kupiansk is right here and Liman is right down here. So this is the front where reportedly, the Russians are advancing here. So, and supposedly or reportedly, the Ukrainians are advancing here. All right. So, Russia and Ukraine differed in their accounts of the latest battles since Kiev launched a counteroffensive early last month, but both sides signaled that fighting was fierce. This is very objective. That's true. They both lie, of course. The TASS news agency quoted the Russian Defense Ministry as saying its forces had advanced by up to 2 kilometers, 1.2 miles in the direction of Kupiansk, an important railway junction in the Kharkiv region. Again, that is right here. This is Kupiansk, as I showed before, is right where all this meet right here. Let's go back here. General Alexander Syrskyi, commander of the Ukrainian ground forces, had said earlier on Tuesday that Russia had concentrated forces in the Kupiansk sector. They said about more than 100,000, mind you, troops over there, and about 990 tanks, and about, I can't remember exactly how many, 500 I think it was, motor vehicles, and big offensive over there. But that Ukraine troops were holding them back. The situation is complicated but under control in the east, end quote, Syrskyi said on the Telegram messaging app. Ukrainian officials have increasingly pointed to an intensification of Russian military activity near Kupiansk and nearby Liman, as I said, in the northeast. Both cities were taken by Ukraine late last year, and Liman is also a railway junction. So that's one over here, Kupiansk, right here, and then Liman is right here. This is Liman. So Reuters was unable to verify the situation on the battlefield. Of course you're unable. All right, so I'm not going to read this little thing over here. This is what they said about the Kupiansk build-up. Ukraine military says Russia has more than 100,000 troops and more than 900 tanks in the area. They just brought them, according to these guys. So Something is happening in Kupiansk, that's for sure. And it seems like the Russians are going to go like this, the Ukrainians go like this, and they're going to go like this, and they go in circle, chasing one another. Well, that's it. I will make another video on the Ukraine front, an update of the whole front as I usually do it, using the Ukrainian side and the Russian side, which two liars, but hey, that's what we have to work with, is war. You're not going to say, yes, the enemy kicks our butts. Here, it's kind of like that, but they mention the Russians saying it, not the Ukrainians saying it. It's just complicated. Complicated meaning we are real bad, but they can't say it. For obvious reason, I'm not condemning them. It's a war after all. And people die, and that's a lot of stake of them. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.